Let's look at another interesting example which involves dividing a quantity in a given ratio. This time we're going to divide an interval in the ratio 3 to 5. Okay, so the quantity here represents the length of this interval, and clearly it's not going to be divided in half. Okay, so if we were to divide this interval in the ratio 1 to 1, then that's a division right in the center of this interval. But it's clearly not 1 to 1, it's 3 to 5, which means that the division, where we're going to divide this interval up, is going to be somewhere off from the center. In fact, what this means is that for every 3 centimeters coming in from the left, we're going to come in 5 centimeters from the right, and so on, until the two end up meeting together, probably somewhere around here. Okay, so let's have a look at the mathematics behind it. First things first, let's measure the length of this interval. Okay, and the interval is around the 24 centimeter mark, so let's just say it's 24 centimeters. Okay, so the is equal to 24 centimeters. Okay. Now we're going to divide 24 into the ratio 3 to 5. Okay. Now we can use counters to represent this ratio 3 to 5. Okay. So the blue represents the 3 and the greens represent the 5. So what this is saying is that we have 8 counters. The all-out counters together represent 24 centimeters. So what does one counter represent? Okay, so what is the contribution of each counter to the length of this interval? Okay, so if you want to think about it from this perspective, okay, each counter contributes a certain amount of length and equal amount of length each time. Okay, so let's work out the value or the contribution of each counter. Okay, so each counter, okay, contributes. Okay, and the way we're going to work that out is we start off with the length of the interval, and we're going to divide it by the number of counters. And we have 8 counters, so that comes from the 3 and the 5 added together. Okay, so 3 plus 5, which is equal to 24 divided by 8, which is equal to 3. So each counter contributes 3 centimeters, okay, to this interval. So going back now to the original ratio, if we then take this number here, okay, this value of each counter, and we multiply it by the number of counters that we have, okay, so 3 blue counters times 3 gives you 9 centimeters. Okay, so this is really the ratio 9 to 15. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. So moving back to the interval, okay, and marking it on the interval itself. Okay, we come in from the left hand side and we'll mark in 9 centimeters there. Okay, so this interval now has been divided in the ratio 3 to 5, or the equivalent ratio 9 centimeters to 15 centimeters.